Good morning, good morning, good morning. So my name is Sanders Adu. Thank you. Duke class of 94. I am the co-chair for this fourth annual Black Alumni Collective Conference and also the past co-chair for Duke Black Alumni. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to Duke University. Right now I'm going to introduce our Duke University leadership. I'm going to have very brief welcome remarks, and then I'll turn it over to our 10th president, Dr. Vincent Price. So with that, I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Price. Please come out. He is the 10th president of Duke University. Dr. Valerie Ashby is the dean of the Trinity School of Arts and Sciences. Dave Kennedy is the vice president of Duke Alumni Engagement and Development. And the Reverend Dr. Luke A. Powery is the dean of the Duke University Chapel and associate professor of Homiletics at Duke Divinity School. If you all could be seated. So wow, you are a good-looking group. Thank you all for traveling from far and wide. We have approximately 45 schools represented at this conference from all over the country. Over the next 3 days, we're going to be celebrating Black excellence. We're going to be engaged in fellowship and taking lessons learned from this conference to positively impact our universities and our communities. First of all, I'd like to really thank the Duke staff. The Duke staff has worked tirelessly for the last 9 months on this conference. So if any Duke staff are around, please raise your hand. Thank you. I would also like to thank, we had a planning committee made up of about 15 people from different universities all over the country planning this conference. So if you're part of the planning committee, please raise your hands. Thank you, guys. And I really wanted to take this opportunity to really thank President Price. President Price has been all in to support this conference from the very beginning. Actually, I engaged with a dialogue with President Price and the presidents of Rutgers, Old Dominion, and College of Charleston for our virtual conference. And we had a great dialogue about how universities can move all of this work forward. So thank you, President Price. And really since the day that President Price set foot on Duke's campus over 5 years ago, he's been all in for the Black community. He has been engaged with students, alumni, faculty, and staff to make sure this university moves forward in a cohesive manner. So really want to give President Price a hand. And now it gives me great pleasure and a distinct honor to introduce to you the 10th president of Duke University, Dr. Vincent Price.
Thank you, Sanders, for that very kind introduction. I'm excited to be with you all this morning, welcome you to Duke's campus. I know I speak for the entire Duke community in saying that we're very proud to host this fourth annual Black Alumni Collective National Conference. And if the campus seems a little quiet this morning, I'll just let you know that these are finals. So today and tomorrow, students are in final exams. But you'll see them late in the afternoon out on the quad, and it will feel more like that campus we all know and love. First, let me extend my thanks to Allison Reeves for her work as this year's conference coordinator. And I would also like to again thank Sanders and Tadina Simpson for their visionary leadership of Duke Black Alumni and the Black Alumni Collective. Through this work, you're making Duke's campus and campuses across the United States more equitable, just, and inclusive of all members of our communities. And finally, I would like to thank Duke alumni Lisa Borders and Derek Penn for serving as honorary co-chairs for this year's conference. So this is truly a remarkable event, and the BAC is a truly remarkable organization. We have, as Sandra said, 45 colleges and universities represented here this weekend from across the country. And as I mentioned during our virtual meeting in February, despite all the differences between our institutions, our Black classmates and colleagues face many of the same issues. Issues of systemic racism, of discrimination, and of longstanding barriers to advancement in the academy and beyond. Each of these institutions is also home to Black excellence, to faculty, to students, staff, and alumni who are making transformational discoveries, improving the lives of neighbors in communities around the country, and pursuing careers of distinction with real principle and purpose. And importantly, each of our colleges and universities is exploring just how we might advance racial equity and foster a more inclusive and engaged future for higher education at a critical moment in our nation's history. Now, here at Duke, that work has taken the form of a campus-wide anti-racism and racial equity initiative. It's one that is seeking to foster a more inclusive and engaged community for everyone who comes here to Duke. And I'm so grateful to our Duke Black alumni who have been involved in these efforts in such profound ways and will continue to be as we move forward. This will be a foundational priority for our university for decades to come. And as we've undertaken this important work, I have sought to follow 4 core principles, which I mentioned in that virtual conference, and I've come to call these the 4 H's. The first is humanity. We need to validate the fact that every person in our communities is valued and deserves to be treated equally as a truly rich human member of our communities. The second is humility, recognizing that we know a lot less than we often admit. And that's especially difficult for institutions that have standing and prestige, and I think especially difficult sometimes for research universities. The third is honesty. Not only to be honest to each other, but to ourselves. Being honest about our weaknesses, recognizing our imperfections, and importantly, telling our institutional history in a candid and a transparent way. And finally, most importantly, hope. Hope that we can do this despite all the challenges ahead. So as we gather here today for this wonderful national conference, I'm feeling very hopeful for a brighter and more inclusive future. I'm feeling so grateful to you for all the work that you're doing at your institutions, the way you're lifting your campuses. And I wish you the very best for a fantastic conference. Thank you. So, thanks. I thought I was going to introduce Valerie Ashby, but I'll turn the podium over to Sanders. But as I do this, let me just say that the next speaker to step to the podium has been an extraordinary dean of our Trinity College of Arts and Sciences, and we are so proud that she is president-elect of the University of Maryland, Baltimore County.
And with that, Dean Ashby.
I can't even, I can't even hear that quite yet. I can't. It took me a while to wear Dean Ashby, and now I can't even say the words just yet. But I am honored. So first, let me just say thank you to Sanders. What a privilege it is and has been to be at Duke and do work with him and our Black alumni who have been so supportive of Trinity College of Arts and Sciences and also of Duke. One of the things that is a pure joy to me about being here at Duke is that I walked in the door and we decided in Trinity College of Arts and Sciences that we would lead and move forward with a mantra of excellence of inclusive excellence, of diversity leading us to excellence. And so I'm delighted to have been at this university and been able to move that forward in Trinity College of Arts and Sciences as Duke was moving forward simultaneously. I'm also excited to go to the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. I'm thrilled. And I've met so many of you who are from the area, so thank you for that. And that is also a place that has really been rooted and grounded in inclusive excellence. And so I'm excited and honored to be able to go there. As you are here on our campus, I will tell you one of the saddest things that I am experiencing is leaving my faculty colleagues, staff, and students. There is Black excellence all over this Duke campus. Wow. And we have elevated that excellence and increased that excellence in numbers and in culture and climate, and there's still more work for us to do. But wow, will you experience my faculty, staff, and students while you are here as we will experience you. So I'm delighted to be here, and thank you again, Sanders, for having us, and welcome to Duke University.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. I'm Luke Powery, the Dean of Duke University Chapel. It's great to be here with you for this conference. I bring you greetings from the spiritual and geographical center of the university, Duke Chapel, a rising physical structure that you can't miss at the center of campus. But more than a physical structure, it's a spiritual community that embodies the historic motto of Duke, which is eruditio et religio, knowledge and religion. And the and is critical because it's inclusive, it's relational, it's a conjunction. It's not a disjunction, a separation like the word or. It is and, et. And in so many ways, the Black Alumni Collective reflects this conjunctive imagination built into the very word and, as it creates spaces for Black voices and all voices on traditionally white campuses. By doing so, it broadens the body of knowledge, brings diverse perspectives, reveals the breadth of excellence that Dean Ashby just mentioned. It lifts every voice, even those that express, to use the words of James Weldon Johnson, a glad defiance in their throat. This conjunctive imagination of and is also reflected in this gathering here these next few days, this gathering of collective Blackness like we see here. Historically, as you know, when Black people gathered, even to sing or pray, it was viewed as a threat to the powers that be. But the Black Alumni Collective demonstrates collective Blackness, not to be a threat or a curse, but a gift to higher education, the broader society, and the world. And so this gathering and the ongoing work of BAC, as I know it, are a part of a spiritual movement in many ways, in which this collective conjunction is an expression of joy and hope and justice and the possibility of racial healing in our nation and spiritual growth toward a human beloved community where everybody is truly a somebody. So as you gather these next few days and as we continue to embody human conjunctions across the various sectors of society, let's do as Maya Angelou once said, and continue to rise and leave behind nights of terror and fear into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, bringing the gifts that our ancestors gave, remembering that we are the dream and the hope of the slave. So thank you for being here, and thank you for helping Duke to rise higher. Enjoy these next few days, and I'd like to turn it over to Vice President Dave Kennedy.
Memo to self, next time go before Dean Powery, not after him. I am surrounded by eloquent men of God, and I'm a little overwhelmed, but I'm glad to be here. Good. So I want to welcome you back to Duke, or welcome to Duke. We are so proud and pleased to have you with us. This conference idea has been talked about, as Sanders said, for close to a year. And this has really been a passion project for a lot of my colleagues and our great volunteers. And so it's so great to see this come to fruition today and tomorrow. And we're so pleased to have you here. And I just want to thank Sanders and Tadena again, and my great colleagues Clarabelle Peguero and Jess Emig for their passionate leadership for this effort. And a day like this just it makes it all real how hard everybody worked to make it possible. So I just want to welcome you back for that. It is my great pleasure to present an award that we did virtually and earlier this month. We get to do it live. We give an award called the Beyond Duke Award, which is given to Duke alumni who embody service to society. It's an amazing group every year. This year we had over 100 nominations and we chose 6 honorees. We could have chosen 100 if we could have, but the 6 really stood out in so many ways. And on April 6th, we had a virtual ceremony to celebrate them, which was wonderful. We wish it was in person. But when we had the opportunity and realized that Pastor Howard John Wesley was going to be with us, we didn't want to miss that opportunity to honor him in person and celebrate him. So I'd love to invite Pastor Howard John Wesley to come join us to the stage for a moment. Congratulations. So the great thing is when we do this is we seek alumni input on our nominees, and this is, in their words, this really tells why we're honoring Pastor Wesley. One of the nominators wrote, "One of the oldest African-American churches in the country, Alfred Street Baptist Church, under the leadership of Pastor Wesley, has contributed more than $1 million to community-based organizations and national nonprofits to support COVID-19 relief initiatives. He's also led the church to help other churches who have had to close during the pandemic, as well as organizations that support victims of domestic violence, citizens returning from incarceration, and youth in crisis. But apart from the tangible efforts that he has led in his church to be involved with this, his weekly sermons are timely and comforting. I heard Dean Ashby talking backstage about how she listens to him every week. He's addressed the racial turmoil that continues to trouble this country and fueled the Black Lives Matter movement. He also talks about the value of seeking mental health care, an issue that's a challenge for the African-American community, especially for African-American men. On behalf of Duke Alumni Engagement and Development, I present this Beyond Duke Award to Howard John Wesley with our thanks and appreciation for all you do for your parishioners, in person and virtual, and for those in your community whom you've helped. We're so proud to honor you today. Congratulations. I yield.
Pastor, before you sit down, this is point of personal privilege. So the pastor and I are actually classmates from Duke, class 94.
Best class ever.
Best class ever. He is actually my pastor. I go to Alfred Street Baptist Church in Alexandria, Virginia. But I did want to just take a moment to brag on my friend. Got to do it. So Pastor Wesley is not only one of the best preachers, teachers, and scholars in America. We had the honor of President Obama visiting our church twice during his presidency. And he's also a winner of the NAACP Image Award, 2-time Route 100 winner. He's also the winner of the highest award in Kappa Alpha Psi, the Laurel Wreath Award, and actually the second youngest winner in the history of the award, 110 years after Arthur Ashe. So this guy's a big deal, and it's just a pleasure that we as a university can honor our Black alumni and honor the excellence that we have in our midst all throughout this audience, and particularly Pastor Wesley. He's touched a lot of lives. I've had a lot of friends and others around the country just tell me how much his sermons, they really mean to him. He's an inclusive pastor. He embraces everyone. He embraces every race, gender, sexual orientation, and background. And I think that is that love, that agape love, has brought 10, 20,000 people a weekend to watch his sermon. So, Pastor, it's an honor to honor you. You're my friend, you're my brother, and I just appreciate you.
My final act in office is to introduce the other co-chair of the conference. So we've had amazing alumni leadership in the Duke Black Alumni Association, DBA. And both Sanders and Tadena have been both inspirational leaders, particularly during difficult times during the pandemic. And I'm so delighted that this conference is another embodiment of their hard work on behalf of Duke and the Black alumni community writ large. So I'd love to turn it over now to the co-chair of the conference, Tadina Simpson. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Dave Kennedy, and I want to say thanks again to Dean Ashby, President Price, as well as Reverend Powery. Thank you for your continued leadership and support of Duke Black Alumni and the Black Alumni Collective. Thank you for giving us this space to ascend and celebrate Black excellence in all its forms right here at Duke. My name is Tadina Simpson, and as Dave has mentioned, I am the co-chair for this year's Black Alumni Collective Conference, as well as the co-chair for Duke Black Alumni. Today, I have the privilege of introducing this year's honorary conference co-chairs, Lisa Borders and Derek Penn, both members of the Duke class of 1979. A little bit about Lisa, who I affectionately now call my big sister. Lisa is CEO of LMB Group, co-founder and CEO of Golden Glow Media, a Duke University trustee, and host of the podcast Enlightened. Lisa has over 3 decades of leadership experience delivering results across the private, public, and nonprofit sectors. While Lisa's professional title may have changed from CEO of Time's Up to president of the WNBA to now CEO of LMB, there is one thing that has not changed, and that is her civil engagement and commitment to her community. And I can attest to that firsthand. As one of our DBA advisors, Lisa always makes sure that we, her Duke family and Duke community, have what we need. She always makes herself available. She's always a phone call and an email away. And what I love most about Lisa is that she will always keep you honest, and she always keeps it 100. In addition to being a Duke alum, Lisa also holds a Master's of Science in Health Administration from the University of Colorado. And now a little bit about Derek. I call them the dynamic duo. So Derek is currently a consultant and independent trustee of Charles Schwab Mutual Fund and ETF Board. He has held various senior leadership roles in the financial sector, including managing director at BNY Mellon and senior vice president for Fidelity Investments. In June 2021, Derek's Wall Street resume and amalgamation of talents led to his selection to serve as an independent member of the Charles Schwab Mutual Fund and EFT Board of Trustees. I haven't known Derek for long, but in the time that I have gotten to know him via Zoom calls in preparation for this conference, I have seen just how dedicated he is to excellence, to mentoring, and to building community. Derek is a double Dukey with an MBA from Duke University's Fuqua School of Business and a Bachelor of Arts with a double major in chemistry and English. Please help me welcome our lovely honorary conference co-chairs Lisa Borders and Derek Penn.
Thank you, Tadina. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it.
Amen.
Right? So I've met several of you earlier, and many of you have said this is like coming back to church. Let me say it again. This is like coming back to, not church, how about church? It's a privilege to be here with all of you. I'm delighted. Derek and I are thrilled to be a part of this. Salute to President Price, Dean Ashby, Madam President, don't get it twisted, Dean Powery, Dean Kennedy. We are thrilled to be here with all of you, and I'm delighted. We all are delighted to have all of you here. On behalf of the trustees, I have to say this because I have the privilege of sitting with that group who govern and oversee the university. We are thrilled, we are honored, we are humbled to have the Black Alumni Collective in our house. But the Black Alumni Collective should be so very proud of where you are. Sanders and Tadina have done an extraordinary job of pulling this all together along with the leadership team here at Duke and our staff, Jess and Clarabelle. But I understand this started with Allison and Ali sitting at a football watch party, talking trash, and talking about how Black alumni should come together. And that was 4 years ago. And look at where we are today with a national conference, 300 plus attendees registered, 3x of where it was previously. Derek always does my math for me, but he told me that was real good. I want to point out this is not just incremental progress, this is remarkable progress. Somebody say amen. So at the end of the day, I invite you, us, we, to step back and take this all in. Those who have come before us sweated, bled, and died so we could be at this place at this moment. We are planting a flag. We have reached a milestone on the journey of life, where we not only bring to life what our ancestors gave us, but we continue to cut the path for those who come alongside and after us. We have not only an opportunity, but an obligation to continue the work that was done on our behalf and that should be done for future generations, not just of Black people, but of all people. Let's be clear. Black folks have been contributing to this university and many universities and this country since time and memoriam. Somebody say amen.
Amen.
So for the rest of the world to catch up, recognize and appreciate and invite, encourage, and implore us to continue, I'm all in. I don't know about y'all. So I would like to invite us, number one, to fully engage this weekend. Meet somebody you haven't met before and be present when they are talking with you. Don't think about the next words you want to formulate and what you got to say. Let's be active listeners and fully engage. You've heard the word excellence multiple times here. Bring your A game to the table this weekend, because you need to export that when you get back to your organization, your company, your family, your ecosystem. You have a responsibility to lay some indelible fingerprints out there. And finally, bring some empathy to the table. There are those who are trying to work with us and talk with us, and frankly, they're scared. They're real scared, because they've never done this before. This place where everyone should have the opportunity to meet their full potential and be met where they are, this agape love that we talk about. There are a lot of folks who can't spell that. Did you hear me? They can't spell that, and they are walking in fear. I was taught, Dean Powery, that fear stood for false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. So they're fearful. I invite us to be faithful, walk in their shoes, and give them the grace and the space to meet us where we are. Somebody say amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Reverend Powery and Reverend Wesley, you got some competition. Sister Reverend Borders just laid it out there. For sure. And once again, beauty before the beast. You figure out who the beast is here. But life is a process of continuous learning. We continuously learn about what makes us happy, what makes us sad, what motivates us, what motivates others, how to make the world a better place. In order to learn, you have to be involved. Someone once said, if you tell me, I will forget 50% of what you tell me. If you teach me, I will remember. But if you involve me, I will learn. So all of you here, and those of you that aren't here that will be at some of the later sessions, are obviously involved, or you wouldn't be here. Over the next 3 days, you're going to have some tremendous speakers, some tremendous panelists, try to impart some knowledge. And I ask you to keep your eyes open, listen intently, take notes, ask questions, network, and take this knowledge back to your communities, your universities, your homes, your workplaces, because what we got going on, as Lisa said, is tremendous. To have 45 universities in a collective like this ain't happening anywhere in the United States, probably not the world. And I take my hat off to Allison and Ollie from Florida State. I can't remember his last name. Ollie, Florida State, that's what I'm going to call you.
There he is.
But how creative a mind they have to think of something like this. This took creativity, it took strategy, and I got to tell you, I only got involved in this 3 or 4 months ago when Lisa picked up the phone and called me. I didn't know what the Black Alumni Collective was, but Lisa woke me up real quick, as she wakes up everybody, if you know Lisa. But I'm so thrilled to be involved. This is tremendous. It's only 4 years old. I once had a high school coach, and I was the captain of my high school football team. And he came to us in the locker room before a practice, before a big game, and he said, "What do you guys want to do?" I was like, "Coach, well, you're the coach, so you're supposed to tell us." He goes, "You know what?" And I never forgot this. He said, 11 minds are better than 1 mind, even if my mind is more mature than yours. So 400 minds are better than 1 mind. And you know what? This thing is only going to grow. I think Allison told me that the last time you had an in-person event, there were 100 people. There are 400 people here. And this is going to grow. And I'm certainly going to be at the next one in South Carolina, which is being hosted by the University of Charleston and the Citadel. But this is huge, and understand it. And take this knowledge back and spread this knowledge and stay involved, because this thing is only going to get bigger. And our voice is greater in numbers, and we have a lot to say. We have a lot of political clout. We have a lot of intellectual clout, and we're going to make this a better place for all Black folks on this planet. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Lisa and Derek. Right now, I'm going to introduce our mighty conference coordinator, Miss Allison Reeves, as she'll come out here and give us some remarks. Let's welcome her.
Hey. Hold up, you know, it's a very heavy load to carry a light, right? Good morning, y'all.
Good morning.
Hey, yo!
All right.
Y'all ain't get it. Hey, yo!
All right.
Call and response. All right?
All right.
How you preach without preaching? So, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thank you for letting me in y'all's email boxes for the past 3 months. Appreciate you. So I'm going to take us through a couple things, then we're going to go to break, and we're going to mix and mingle and do some gripping and grinning and have a good time. So I'm going to take you through 3 things. First, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how the Black Alumni Collective came together. Then we're going to recognize some very important leaders in the room. And lastly, we're going to offer a very special award for one very special Black alumni organization. Okay, we can go to the next slide. All right, so I'm glad to give us an overview of how we got together. It all started with football. So in 2018, and I heard a lot about Duke's football yesterday, so it's a good thing. I was on the board for the Clemson Black Alumni Council, and we wanted to create a space for fellowshipping and having a good time. We got in touch with our friends at Georgia Tech Black Alumni Organization, and here's a quick glance at our watch party. Lots of school spirit, and if you see that baby in the middle, her mom went to Georgia Tech and her dad went to Clemson. Now that's an ACC matchup, I tell you. So with another game that fall, we had the chance for 2 other schools to get together. Yeah, buddy, I like to tell this story. The Black alumni groups of Florida State and Clemson got together for another fun time. Here again, lots of fellowship and Black alumni school spirit. Now, even though some folks were feeling the game and others weren't, there was divine 9 love every single time. Yes! Now, soon after, lots of Black alumni leaders connected in Atlanta, which is where I'm based, so if you ever come through, holla at your girl. We thought about what it could look like to bring together Black alumni strategically and how we could really exchange some best practices. We were in touch with at least 2 schools in the following states: Georgia, Florida, Alabama, North Carolina, and South Carolina. We sent out the call and the invitation, and a few months later, we had our inaugural BAC National Conference hosted by Georgia Tech Black Alumni Organization. We decided then and there to continue this work and become a national nonprofit organization. Many thanks to James Ward, our conference co-chair from Georgia Tech. In 2020, just before COVID hit, y'all, I promise that's why we're not wearing masks. Just before COVID hit, we were welcomed by Florida State University Black alumni. Shout out to all my FSUBA people. Hello. Many thanks to Ollie Moore and Shari Williams, our conference co-chairs. In 2021, round 3, we did a quick pivot to do a 4-day virtual conference. Y'all know what it's like to be on these Zooms. We were hosted by American University's Black Alumni Alliance. Where are you? Hey, guys. A ton of thanks to Gordon Fletcher and Bruce Alexander, our co-chairs. Now that brings us to 2022 here in Durham. A few folks to recognize in the room. When I call your name, please stand. Ollie Moore, Florida State University Black alumni. Remain standing, remain standing. Stacy Hill and O.C. Fulford, University of Alabama Black Alumni Association. Now there are folks and friends who saw the vision and were part of the foundation of the Black Alumni Collective, and these were these brothers and sisters who built this organization. We hold space for them. Please remain standing. Following board members, please stand. Yukachi Ononue, Rutgers African American Alumni Alliance. Cindy Jones, University of Alabama Black Alumni Association and Old Dominion University Black Alumni Chapter. Hey, Cindy. Obina Oniali, University of Colorado, Boulder Forever Buffs Black Alumni Association. Tangela, I don't know if she's here yet, she had to fly in, American University Black Alumni Alliance, and, hold up, Oxford Black Alumni Network, our first international school. Let's hold space for her. Cedric Warren, University of South Carolina Black Alumni Council. Gina West, Howard University Black Alumni Association. And while she's unable to join us today, we hold space for Erin Hutchins, Auburn University Black Alumni Association. I'll also ask Kendall Hall from Rutgers African American Alumni Alliance to stand. And we'll learn just why over the coming days. Now there's one person who saw the vision, was on the calls, hosted some parties, made introductions, and co-hosted this year's conference, Mr. Sanders Adu. Please join me in celebrating these folks. So as you see these leaders throughout the weekend, please be sure to connect with them and thank them for their leadership. Thanks, y'all. So Duke University has given us a lot of firsts. We had our very first conversation among university presidents, thanks to everyone who made this happen. This will now be part of our annual conference, bringing together leaders of universities to discuss the issues that are most important to our community. Duke University also brought us our first two-part conference. We had our virtual edition on March 12th, 2022, which was 4 sessions. So a ton of thanks. And again, Citadel and College of Charleston, we got to start planning for our virtual conference. And Duke University has also brought us to a point where we're able to recognize our very first award winner of the BAC Award for Black Alumni Excellence. The BAC board voted with enthusiasm to offer this award at the top of each one of our annual convenings. So every year we're going to offer this award. The award is based on 3 elements. Write them down if you want to compete. You have to have been active with the Black Alumni Collective for more than 12 months. Your university president is engaged with your work and has been involved with the BAC. And you have consistent outreach with your Black Alumni Association, both through social media and through community engagement. We're glad to celebrate a Black Alumni Association that was formally established in 2016 and has made alumni feel connected and protected in many, many ways. In the classroom, on the campus, in the barracks, and around the world. Our very first inaugural award, we are grateful to you for your leadership, and we're glad to present it to the Citadel African American Alumni Association. We'll ask all the representatives of the Citadel to come on stage. If you'd like to. Hey, Bruce. So good to see you. We got that. Where's AJ? There we go. We'll do one with them, and then I'll pop it.
All right.
Good looking group. Good looking group.
Alrighty, that's enough talking from my end. Y'all, we're gonna head to break. When you see the lights dim, come back in, okay? See y'all outside.